My name's Paul, Ava, okay?
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm fine.
Take as much time as you want, okay? You're the only case that I'm working on today, okay?
Going into it, I felt like I trusted the police. I had no reason not to trust the process and to trust the system and to trust these gentlemen who were interviewing me.
Okay, so, we had got tickets to this keg party.
I had just started my first year at Western, so it was my first time living away from home. We pre-drank a little bit at our res, and then we walked to the party.
They were playing flip cup. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to, I'm saying everything as it comes out.
Because of the combination that I was drinking, the diet lemonade really masked the taste of the vodka. Then I was drunk, pretty drunk, yeah.
And this is where it starts to get really, like I black out. I don't remember. I was outside with some guy and we were making out, like that was consensual. And then I don't remember much, but I remember being on the ground. He was over top of me. My clothes were off. I kept saying, like, you're hurting me. Like, stop, you're hurting me.
I was on my back, I was cold, I was in the dirt, and he didn't stop.
The next thing I know is there's a bunch of people with camera phones taking pictures. I don't know what they're doing, and they're saying things. And, like, I have no idea. So, like, he gets up, like, he leaves. I'm in the fetal position like this.
I remember I think it was two girls coming over to me, and I was naked, and I think I just said, I need to leave. I was told that my parents were called in the middle of the night, and I can't imagine the terror of getting a call in the middle of the night that your daughter, who's 18, has been raped.
People should not be interviewed in any kind of depth to give a statement following a traumatic event. They need at least 2 nights' sleep to consolidate memory. So, of course, they can be asked key pieces of information, but before asking someone detailed questions, they really need to sleep.
If you don't recall so much of what's occurring when you're outside, how do you recall the fact that you told him no?
Well, maybe I wasn't clear. Yeah, I wasn't really clear in what I was saying, how it's like I blacked out and then I came to my senses. And then I remember saying, no, like, you're hurting me, no. And then I remember people taking pictures.
So you black out, you don't remember anything, but then you suddenly come to and you're able to tell him to stop it. No, you don't want this to occur.
Yeah.
These are the things that people have been doing for decades. I mean, police are trying to look for gaps. They're looking for usually chronology, but this is an experience that is encoded differently.
I've been doing this, Ava, for 22 years. Sometimes in sexual assaults, things happen, they need to get reported. Okay, they need to be investigated. But sometimes what actually occurred and what got reported sometimes gets blurred a little bit. And even when you're telling me this, you're able to tell me, despite going through quite a night, keeping your composure, but it's at the point where you realize everybody's taking the pictures and standing around that you become very, very upset. Which leads me to wonder, was it consensual up until that point? And it's not so much the sex that's the issue here. It's the voyeurism on everybody else's part with the cameras. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do see what you're saying. But
I started to put it together that I wasn't necessarily being believed, and it was like the floor opened up underneath me. I felt like I was sinking.
So why are you saying these things? Or, like, do you not believe me? Or are you just trying to straighten things out?
I need to clarify some
Yeah.
things, yeah. Important factors such as what was said between you and this guy, how you got outside, how your clothes were removed, all of that's blacked out. And then suddenly you recall telling him to stop it. Whether people are intoxicated or whether it's drugs or whether it's a combination of both, it's not a sudden loss of memory and then a sudden regaining of the memory. It's a gradual, and it's a gradual.
But he's wrong. That's exactly what happens. Once they recognize through one of their senses that they're in danger or under threat, then the brain releases a cascade of all these neurochemicals into their brain and their body to help them with that fight or flight response. But those neurochemicals change the brain. So parts of the brain are deactivated, and part of the deactivation means the brain focuses on very central details, the details that were most important for survival. And so those memories become encoded as intense fragments.
I know you're saying that me not remembering, but I don't remember.
Okay.
I remember telling him, like, that he was hurting me and to stop.
Okay.
His theory about how he thinks memory works changed this entire interview because he directed it, he imposed, he didn't listen to what the victim was saying about her own experience. Instead, he told her how her memory should work.
And we did come across people at the party that really don't know you, don't know him, but, like I said, saw you in the basement with him, making out, and what appeared to be on the side of the house, consensual sex, until it was discovered that all these cameras are around, all these people are around.
I felt like they insinuated that it wasn't a rape, it wasn't what I thought it was, and I really doubted myself. I knew the way they treated me, but once you have that tiny, tiny seed of doubt planted by people who really are insinuating that they don't believe you, you question everything.
Is it possible, given the scenario, that it started off consensual?
It is It is possible.
Okay.
I don't know, but I will give you that it is possible from what you're telling me and what I'm hearing.
When someone is interviewing you, and 90% of communication is nonverbal. So someone's sitting in there and they're not believing you, and they're not making you feel safe and understood. That also puts your brain under stress. And so once you're under stress and you realize, I'm not being believed, that also alters the way you can even tell a story.
So it's not like I'm...
No, I know.
Yeah, there was a huge shift in her emotional energy of someone who seemed quite willing to talk about it to really looking, at one moment it looked like she kind of recoiled from what he said. And she just slowly became diminished, and her voice became smaller, and he did most of the talking. And that's another marker of a bad interview.
Sorry, I'm just trying to...
Yeah.
She picks up all kinds of his doubt about her story, and it starts to change her demeanor immediately. And he shuts her right down.
Think about it for a minute, Ava. I'm going to go check on the video recording, and I'll be back in 1 minute, okay?
You're still trying to get the story. You're still trying to get details. You're still trying to get things for evidence. So you're still trying to get at the same end result. But the manner, the belief system, the nature of the interview, all of it needs to change. Because what you should be doing is creating a sense of safety and security, and be able to get that person to tell everything they can without you changing or altering or distorting it.
One of the clearest things to me, and one of the most traumatic things, was walking out of that interview room feeling like I wasn't believed and being so unsure of what happened to me. And then I remember sitting down with my mom and really just saying, I can't go through that interview again. I felt so icky after, and it really wasn't until that interview where I felt icky and I felt shame for what happened to me. And so if I had felt more supported in my interview and felt more believed, then I would have gone forward with the process.